everyone, Blue Star Saber here once again to do another Percy Jackson review. Percy Jackson episode 6. We take a zebra to Vegas, which is named after, I believe, the chapter title of 16. And this episode adapts chapters 16 and 17 of the Percy Jackson books. For those who are unaware, if you're a TV-only watcher review, this will be discussing book spoilers, so be prepared. But anyway, this episode follows on last time where a trio of heroes end up meeting Ares, who tasks Annabeth and Percy to get his shield from Hephaestus's amusement park. Percy looks like he's about to sacrifice himself so that he can so that Annabeth can take the shield back to Ares and complete the quest. And there Annabeth meets Hephaestus and is able to move Hephaestus with about how Percy's different and how she wants to be more like him. Ends up convincing Hephaestus to let Percy go, with Groover bonding with Ares for the time being. And as a result, of chatting and after being given a lift in what is, I believe, the Kindness International van. Groover reveals that he has a good idea who has an idea from his conversations with Ares who the Lightning Thief is. Will we find out the answers in this episode? Well, yeah, obviously, but or at least will we get a general idea? But anyway, all right, that's enough of that summary. Over onto the actual episode. I've probably gone on a bit too long. In which the episode begins with Percy dreaming of an unknown man that appears to be a sort of hate teacher, berating someone from failing to capture to retrieve the Master Bolt. But who's arguably the thief who actually stole it, saying that he failed, but there's another chance of having it succeed, but the one to me can be replaced. Hinting that it's Percy, and he talks about how to this thief that he has that he has much bigger plans than just having Poseidon and Zeus going to war. At this point, and then as a result, Percy ends up waking up, and he finds Annabeth and Groover setting up an iris message, and here's the difference from the book, is that Percy already knows about the iris message thing, and they have this little glass thing instead of just trying to find the rainbow to create it, but have this sort of glass thing to create lights for it, so they try and do that communication, and they end up contacting the camp, trying to find Chiron in his office, but they instead see Luke, and Luke ends up telling them that he's going to chaos the camp as Chiron is trying to keep the peace, as campus are starting to take sides, which is different in the books because it doesn't mention which camp factions are taking sides in the books. Because in the books, at the very least, you've got Ares kids siding with Poseidon, and Athena's kids teaming up with Zeus. You don't get that in the books. But you get a general mention. But in fact, we do learn that the person that Groover theorized from talking to Ares, he believes is stealing the Master Bolt, is none other than Ares' daughter Clarice, thinking that Ares would protect his daughter from being revealed as the thief and all that. So Richard Luke seems to agree. But anyway, you get a bit funny moments with Annabeth calling Percy seaweed brain when he tosses the coin, and then them arguing about the dates of what they've done in their quest. And Luke comments on when did you two start becoming a married couple, and they're trying to deny it and all that. But the conversation eventually ends when Percy tries to tell Luke that they're about to try and find their father, but Annabeth cuts short, revealing to Percy that Luke hates his father, blaming him to what happened to the mother, and that but he also says that Hermes would do anything to get in his on some good graces. So if they mention their friends to him, that he should help them. Let's see. They talk about how they have 5 days to retrieve the Master Bolt and return it before the deadline. And during this point, Grover reveals to, after talking to animals, that these Kindness International folks are actually poachers, and shady black traders of I can't recall what exactly, but Grover says they have a plan to get out after when Annabeth had concerns about not getting in the way of their quest, and Grover says that they just needed funds and they had this really certificated plan, but then we cut to the next scene and all just animals and chaos all over the place. I think we got like a camel, a bear, and some sort of buffalo, I think, which is different from like the zebra and the lion, in which I did not see a zebra in there. I'm not sure. I mean, despite the fact that it says it's titled "We Take a Zebra to Vegas," I did not see a zebra, which I think that's a bit of a negative. I mean, maybe I wasn't looking correctly, but if there is a zebra there, I missed it. But at the moment, I didn't really see a zebra. So, but it's nothing too big deal. Just a minor nitpick. Percy does have some concern about if the humans are going to be okay, but Grover says the animals will be fine, as he gave them the site of sanctuary till they get to the wild. And then Percy trying to, and then saying they need to find the Lotus Hotel with Annabeth, clearly pointing out that it's a Lotus casino on its head, making fun. But yeah. But anyway, they sort of arrive at the Lotus Hotel, and they have a bit of a talk, which about the Lotus Casino and Lotus Hotel, revealing like an old story from Odysseus. So Percy remembers it from a graphic novel, much to Annabeth's like really kind of thing, and warning them not to like drink or eat anything here, otherwise it could be trapped for like decades or centuries or even here forever. And so they got their warnings about the place, and they realize that it is, which is another deviation from the books, but that's fine. But anyway, eventually after a bit of searching, Annabeth suggests they split into three split up, and to find Hermes, and then come back to the spot to find them later. Now Percy is reluctant on this plan since he hasn't never met Hermes, therefore he doesn't know. So Annabeth has Percy go with him, and Grover goes on himself. And during this, we see Grover meets the first original character of the series, Augustus Asator, that was like a sort of like mentor figure to his uncle Ferdinand, and he runs after him and all that stuff, and talks about how he doesn't remember him and just wants to thank him for the stuff he did for his uncle, saying that he found his uncle himself and his family. But the Sator ends up with starting to seem like he seems to remember, at least Grover tries to offer him some food, which is nachos, but Grover thinks it's Lotus stuff. But he then goes on saying that he was close to finding Pan and asks Grover to come along with him. But Grover at first declines because he doesn't have a searcher's license. But he says that he gives Grover permission and he goes along since he can't help miss this opportunity to try and see Pan in this location. But anyway. Meanwhile, as Percy and Annabeth are walking, looking for Hermes, Percy tells Annabeth about his dream, now warning him that it might sound stupid, but once Annabeth realizes what Percy's talking about, the dream, he talks about how he's been finding this figure that has been this clouded figure that's been talking to him, and now it's like this like head teacher thing, and they theorize that this must be Hades and Clarice talking about the plans, but Percy tries to get her to see if she can figure out what more than just like the War of the Gods, but Annabeth doesn't really know. Before this can get more into like the debate of who knows what, as Percy seems to be very confident that Annabeth should be able to, if Annabeth can't figure out, he can't, but they end up But they end up finding Hermes after this bit of conversation, having fun at the casino. Offers them to they try to offers them to play a game, but they say they are actually need to try and get the underworld, which he already guessed from what they were talking about, and he says not the first nor the last, nor the ones that will disappoint. But before Hermes tries to walk away, Annabeth or tries to brush it off, Annabeth mentions how they're friends of Luke. So he ends up taking them to talk privately with traveling split second and all that stuff, and that's why, and which is why Hermes says he's got the job as the god of messengers. And we learned that after Annabeth and Hermes talked about a bit of the past of Annabeth remembering Hermes and Luke and Hermes having a bit of an argument, mostly on Luke's end. Hermes reveals how it's he was told to stay away from his son, but he couldn't do that, but only ended up making things worse at the end. And he even shows Percy a little memory of how it's hard to about when it goes on about how it's hard for parents to keep their distance, show all the things they sacrifice. Touches Percy, and he remembers something from his childhood about going to a boarding school, which I think that's what his mother was trying to do for him. And tries to touch Annabeth, but she refuses, and she still remembers, and then walks out, disappearing, thanking Hermes for nothing when he refuses to help them. Let's see, Percy's about to do the same, but Hermes reveals that Poseidon told him it was Poseidon that told him to stay away from Luke, which made him feel helpless, which is not something that goes easy for a god. And warns Percy that he's low on time as Percy starts to realize that they've sort of been here for days and all that stuff, and rushes to the casino. Ends up meeting Annabeth outside and out to the entrance, and talking about how they let's see how it's felt like 20 minutes, but it's actually been a few days. Sort of getting annoyed at Hermes a bit, but Annabeth reveals that for keeping them this long, since he knew about the effects of the hotel. But they also realize that even though since they hadn't eaten the flowers, let's see, Percy tells Annabeth that Hermes told him that they pumped it in the air. As a result, let's see, but Annabeth reveals that he's stolen the keys to Hermes's car. And you see this sort of symbol caucus thing that you have George and Martha on. I'm not sure if that's actually them, but it's at least the design. And just as they're doing this, they remember that they forgot someone, and they did not realize it at first, but they realize that it was Grover after they see Augustus chasing him and demanding where he is. And then they find Grover playing a reality game, which he's having fun, thinking he's fine. Pan, which they pull the headsets off, which gets annoyed. They apologize, reveal that they're supposed to be his best friends. Grover doesn't remember them, but eagerly joins when he hears all this stuff and talks about the excitement of finding Pan to Percy. And this is probably building up to Grover's side plot in the Percy Jackson series of finding Pan, since the show hasn't really done that yet, but now it's doing it. And they end up going to the car park, and they find Hermes' car, which is a taxi. And there's a note which funnily says to the dumb kids, talking to them about instructions on how to use the taxi. So it's goes of course Hermes would realize that the god of thief that he's being stolen from. In some ways, you could argue that he intentionally left it there. Intentionally let her steal so she could take the instructions, all that, just to get out and try and complete their quest. Grover doesn't remember too much, so he can't drive, and Percy decides to volunteer, thinking how bad it can be, but he ends up crashing the car a few times, and eventually get out of the car park, not before being crashed by another car or another truck, and then at the Santa Monica beach. And after they exit the cab, Grover remembers his friends and wonders how he ended up with Fitzy forgetting more than his demigod friends, with Annabeth theorizing that because Percy and her were together, it's hard to forget while Groover was alone. It was much more easier. Percy then decides he needs to go to Pacific Ocean and prepare to now finally meet his father. But when he arrives, he meets the Nero that was from the Mississippi, telling them that unfortunately the deadline has passed and Poseidon must now prepare for war. He waited as long as he could, and telling him that Poseidon does not blame Percy for what goes on, what happened with the quest, and that he should return to camp. But as it's now over, as the quest should now be over, but Percy is determined to see the quest through, and that after encouraging and as a result of encouraging the narrator about this, about what he needs to do, warning her about there's more coming, she gives him 4 pearls so that he and his companions and mother can escape to the underworld and return to the sea, ending the episode on that cliffhanger. Let's see. My overall thoughts. There's quite a lot of differences from the book and shows in this, and in fact, as these later episodes, there really are a lot more differences because of certain characters coming in and all that. But let's see. One difference is that the dream. I think it's supposed to be Tartarus in the books and all that, but instead it's a school office and all that stuff. But no, let's see. This headmaster's probably he's supposed to be the actor who plays Kronos. I could be wrong, but he's portrayed by but he's just currently listed as headmaster, an actor called Hiro Kanigawa. I'm not sure if this guy is going to be just like a form of Kronos or just like one of the many forms that Kronos takes, or his actual main body. But either way, I think it's fine. Granted, I will admit the guy doesn't really give me a sort of like intimidating vibe of like a titan, but who knows? I just have to wait and probably see more of his performance. But I do like how they had that old dream sequence with like Percy and some listening in on this conversation. So I thought that was pretty good. Now, let's see. Now, as a result, there was the fact that you had bits and pieces of the past before of Annabeth talking about her father and family. It doesn't happen in this book, so that means Annabeth doesn't have an idea who the thief is. Instead, it's more like sort of like Groover is. But yeah. But it turns out that the person that Groover suspected was Clarice, which in many ways, I suppose, perhaps maybe is a bit. From my understanding, that was not a suspect. In fact, I think Luke, in the books, makes Annabeth possibly the suspect, but instead it's Clarice. But I think that's fine since Percy's come to trust Annabeth so much here, and so because like the Groover interactions with Ares, yeah, it makes it think that okay, yeah, it could be Clarice. Now, obviously, she makes it like this. That makes her this prime suspect, and it's like daughter of Ares and all that demigod that was there. But it's clearly like a sort of red herring. So I thought it's like, but I think it's like clearly effective. Though granted, next episode will probably make it like, yeah, it could be Clarice, but yeah, but no, instead but yeah, that's fine. I thought they might have gone like, oh no, it's actually the true thief at the end, but turns out they are probably saving that revelation for like the final episode of the story, so that's fine with me. And granted, I think it might be pretty obvious that who it is for most people, but at least for book fans, it should be. I'm not sure about TV show or the Disney Plus series ones only, but who knows. Anyway, one of the differences is like the iris messaging with the glass thing instead of just trying to find water and like particularly a gas, trying to find a rainbow at a gas station trunk instead of like the glass, which it's fine. It's nothing too major. But I do like the sort of conversation that you had with like Luke and Luke and the trio. I particularly like the moments where Percy and Annabeth are arguing with him over the sort of days they did, what monsters they fought on the quest. So I was like encountering Ares, and Luke's like, "You two are a married couple," and you can tell from the looks like this, and we are not that, and all that stuff. But yeah, this is arguably sort of building up the sort of foreshadowing of like the book's eventual Percy and Annabeth relationship. Though interestingly enough, the show seems to have left out the fact that Annabeth originally had a crush on Luke, but it seems they're not doing that at all, and that Luke is just a dear friend to Annabeth. My guess is they're probably just want to try and avoid any possible love triangles that might cause problems or not, but I'm not sure. Or maybe think that the love triangle is a bit outdated, or perhaps the show runners think the love triangle is outdated. But either way, it's nice Percy and Annabeth moments here. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much. Or perhaps they figured like the love triangle bit with Annabeth's complete faith in Luke down the books would cause problems with like the show's writing down the line. So I'm thinking that might make her a bit too naive or something. I'm not sure, but that's where we go. But I do like how Annabeth cuts the conversation short of like let's see, when Percy's about to mention Luke's mum, in which we do get a lot of details about Luke's mom that we would not really see until like the fifth and final book, where Percy's starting to understand, like when Percy's starting to try and retrace Luke's steps to find out what he did, and also help him understand his enemy, if you will, is like a rival, if you will. So yeah. No, it's funny, but you're trying to keep the spoiler about Luke, from earlier, but now I'm actually spoiling all the stuff about Luke. But yeah. So you got all that stuff. So it's like how what happened, Annabeth like explaining the madness of what drove the mother insane, and his mother insane, and then the argument he had with his father. That's all being introduced here, mostly so that they can have the conversation with Hermes, who it plays a bit of a role in this episode, which I suppose makes sense that we'll try to include him a bit more, since they gave him like a cameo in the Medusa episode. But it's like, you know what? Since we got the actor here, we might as well actually bring him in for this. Bring him in for an episode in this casino, in the sort of Lotus Hotel casino, if you will. And I think the actor who portrays him, Lin-Manuel Miranda, I think he does a pretty good job, and you can really tell that he really does, with the way he's acting, behaving, that he really does care for his son, and how it was hard for him to like keep the distance, and how when he didn't, it made things worse, and you can clearly tell that it's upsetting him and all that. So yeah. But yeah, other than that, let's see. I'm a little disappointed they didn't mention which camps are siding with which demigods, but that's fine. I do like how Groover's talking about how clever these animals are, but then it cuts and they're just causing chaos. Granted, like I said, I didn't really see a zebra, so I wasn't like so that's a sort of minor nitpick, but still probably I'd say maybe like a 0.5 point down. But it could be me. I could just not be actually seeing it there. But yeah. Now, interesting, Percy has a bit of history with the sort of iris messages, and I was wondering if they were going to do that, like with a cube thing, but instead they did the cube instead of the water thing. But granted, Percy seems to already know about them, which I think is a bit weird that we never got to see it, but all right. But I do like how so you finally got Percy Jackson and Annabeth calling each other Seabrain and Wise Girl. Granted, Annabeth is trying to get him to do flip the coin. Granted, I wish that the Seaweed Brain nickname was mentioned much earlier, but at least it's now mentioned. And I do like how we do get the Wise Girl in the hotel thing, so that. Though interesting enough, the thing, speaking of the hotel, another change that the book does is that Percy Jackson and the others are, let's see, are more aware of where that this is the Lotus Hotel, or like the Lotus Hotel is like that same story from the Odyssey of like whoever eats the lotuses, gets trapped and all that stuff. So it's like the whole when they go to Auntie Am's, they immediately deduce that it's Medusa, which okay makes sense. They've been studying. We know that the characters have been studying Greek mythology, Percy Jackson through graphic novels still, which is kind of funny the reaction Annabeth gets. But yeah. So they should have some idea of knowing this. But I do like how let's see the books, how the show does a thing of like saying having an effect on like Percy, Grover, and Annabeth by having it instead of like eating it. They've managed to make it go airborne, so you have that little trick there. So there's that. So I do like how they found a way of like making Percy and the others aware of it, but also still have them getting affected by the lotuses themselves by having them like more airborne. Anyway, we also get our first original character in this in the Percy Jackson series, Augustus, this very witty, timid, very confused satyr. Kind of reminds me of the risky behavior. Kind of reminds me, his face reactions kind of remind me of a friend I know. But let's see. I do like how we get a bit of like how this builds more up to like Grover's plot line of him wanting to be like a searcher to find Pan and all that. So since Grover didn't initially want that to be in the first place, which is something the show tries to do, but clearly by the end of the season, it's supposed to be part of Grover's character arc of like he wants to go and do what he wants to go and find Pan, like and succeed where his uncle and Augustus fails before him. But yeah, I do like how he's like it's this completely lost figure. It's like oh Grover, and when he sort of recognizes another Satan, just like nachos and all that stuff, and he goes like, I found Pan. But which I do like how Grover questions why would he be here, but then of course slowly loses his memories thanks to the effects of the casino. But yeah, other than that, let's see. Like I said, the Hermes acted a great job in like despair of not helping his parents, helping Luke and all that stuff. But I do like how he talks about Percy's father, and it was like he was the one that gave him that advice, which Monday would be pretty hard for Percy when he like when there's like this is what Poseidon's probably like with him. But I do like how let's see Hermes talks about how he's met many demigods like them before and disappointed them since. But I do like how he just sort of listens when at least and a breath brings up, and I do even like how they had that little conversation about the last time Hermes met Luke. But yeah, other than that, what else? But yeah, I do like how they both seem to get frustrated with Hermes, who was like him just not wanting to, let's see, directly help, which let's see, in some ways you can probably understand their frustration. At the same time, you can somewhat sympathize with like Hermes. Is like he tried to do everything to help like let's see Luke and his mother, but let's see, just made things worse for them. So it's like he doesn't want to do that again, or just like help demigods again. But at the same time, at least not, let's see, directly. So he refuses, but he seems to allow, much I'm guessing, allow Annabeth to steal his pockets, or at least he realizes and like what they're going to do, gives them notes to help, which I do find funny how he puts his dumb kids. But I do like how, let's see, Annabeth seems to have got some thieving skills, which clearly she learned from Luke, since they're supposed to be quite close. But I do like how we got a little Percy just tackling the let's see, the satyr, saying, "Where's Grover?" And you have that little game room thing, which I was wondering if they were going to do something like the video game thing, like in the books. So granted, this is probably a lot more updated than the books when they did their own video games, but yeah. Well, I do like the sort of interactions Grover has when he would see Percy and Annabeth when he doesn't quite remember everything. It's like, "Oh, we're best friends, cool," and he's just like accepting. It's like, "Oh, a quest, yeah, is this it?" But gets more nervous as time goes on. But I do like how the sort of key rings has like the George and Martha good see symbols of Hermes' power on it. Doubt it's actually them, but I could be wrong. But I do like how let's see when they had decided that they need to take the guard travels with a taxi, and then they still talk about who needs to drive. Grover says like, I can't remember everything, and Percy's like, I'll do it. How bad could it be? And then it's like you see him crashing, which is kind of funny just seeing. Granted, I will admit there wasn't too much tension because it's just them needing to drive out of the thing, and then immediately the taxi will teleport them to where they go. I will say this about the actual Percy Jackson movie. I'll at least say there's at least some bit of tension where you got security guards chasing Grover, Annabeth, and Percy when they realise that they shouldn't really be eating these these lotuses lying about in the casino. So I definitely say the movie had a bit more tension here than this one because Percy ended up chasing, Augustus, but that was it. You had no of the security or staff trying to stop Percy from leaving, which you do see in the books, but no, it doesn't happen here. But I do like how Grover's like immediately Ritzy is able to recognize his friends, and we get the explanation, which I think makes sense. It's like, perhaps it's a bit corny. The more people stay together, they're safer. But anyway, I do like it that we are at the beach and Percy's ready to meet his father. But of course, Percy, which is probably likely means that Percy's not going to meet his father until the last episode, where it's when you get the revelation from the same Nereid, which I do like that they use the same one. I think she ends up being used again in the upcoming Percy Jackson books, but set years after this, what the season's probably the TV series is going to cover. I could be wrong, but yeah. I do like how she mentions Poseidon waited as long as he could, showing to Percy that even though his father's not here, he did wait as long as he could for him. But yeah, but it's like it now must be war, so he's determined to try and see it through. And I do like how he tries to get Percy not involved, but Percy, Ritzy is insistent and tells Nereid about there's much bigger things for Poseidon and Zeus to deal with than wars. And of course, then you get the Ritzy, the sort of pearl or beads, if you will, which there's 4, which if you've read the next couple of books, you know what Percy has to do, and there's let's see, when it comes to escaping the underworld, but there's only 3 of those pearls or beads, so it's the 4th one means that with Ritzy, the companions Percy currently has, and his mother, they should all escape, but which I will feel if Sally Jackson is out just there, which the movie sort of did, but granted they had Grover stay behind. But let's see. If you have her escaping, you can have leave the lack of tension, and not to mention the last part in Percy Jackson's prophecy. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see if doing this will cause any tabus in the storyline that's currently going on in Percy Jackson. But for all we know, Percy could lose one and then has to make the choice of who to save with the remaining 3, but we'll have to wait and see. But look, granted, the next time previews are so far looking promising. Anyway, overall, I'd probably give this episode an 8 out of 10. I'd say it's probably one of the more weak episodes. I mean, granted, there's not really much to do except for they're in the Lotus Hotel, and there isn't really much action. I mean, they do a new character, which I thought was fine, with his interactions with Grover, helping to build up more when he talks to Percy about how he wants to be the one to find the god Pan, which when he forgets his memories, but it is building up to Grover doing his own quest to find Pan after getting the searcher's license and all that. So you had that. And let's see. Not much action, but you did have a little bit of chase scene and then a bit of a crazy drive-through, but that's fine. I do like the funny moments about, let's see, with Grover and Percy with how bad could it be? It's oh, it's absolute chaos, or it's bad. But yeah, other than that, I did like seeing the performance of the Hermes actor. and even possibly the teacher of Kronos. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, which I didn't really hear, but apparently when Grover, her, and Augustus were like talking, apparently you heard Nico D'Angelo calling for his sister. So, which, granted, as far as I can tell, this is an uncredited role, and the casting from Nico D'Angelo is not yet being made. Which, to be fair, probably won't happen until we get closer to after the second season comes out, dealing with a Sea of Monsters, and then pre-production for then go into production for I believe season 3, which will be the Titan's Curse of Percy Jackson. But overall, yeah, didn't really see a zebra. Let's see, not entirely sure about some of the changes, particularly the beads, but I did like Poseidon showing it. Let's see, telling Percy how he waited for ages, waited as long as he could. Let's see, Hermes, like I said, Hermes' performance. Let's see, the comedy was on point, but yeah. But overall, not the most exciting, and the length was pretty short, but yeah. But anyway, the next episode probably is going to end up being the most action-packed for the series yet. So, yeah. Let's see, so I'm looking forward to that episode tomorrow, but for now, I am Blue Star Saber signing off. Thank you for listening to what I had to say. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Goodbye for now.